Hi and welcome. I absolutely love clay projects and I'm here to share my creativity and ideas with you. When I did my video about transferring images to air dry clay, I had many questions, including can we use our laser printers? So in this video I share with you how to print on your laser printer and transfer onto your clay. Most of my projects I use air dry clay, but today I'm using polymer clay. And so I have my images here printed on a laser printer on some regular paper. For your project you can choose absolutely any design of your choice. Any image, text or photograph. I'm using these that are free printouts from my other videos. When you work with polymer clay you need to warm it up and make it really soft in your hands first. Polymer clay can be quite hard out of the packet, so as you warm it up it becomes lovely and soft to use. As I'm doing here, you can take 2 or 3 different colours, or as many colours as you like, and blend them all together to make your own colour. Just make sure the clay is lovely and soft before you use it. For this image transfer piece, I'm going to marble some of my clay just to give an added effect. But you can do your image transfer on any colour of your choice. Just make sure there's enough contrast between your printout and your clay. This is a really quick and easy clay technique, and the image transfer does get some really good results. I've rolled my polymer clay into a marble effect. You'll then want to roll your clay into a nice flat surface so that we can create our image transfer. You can use parchment paper underneath your polymer clay if you find it easier to do so. I just find it easier to move the clay around when I have the parchment paper underneath. Choose a cookie cutter or a template to draw around for whatever piece you're designing. Then take your printout, this one's been done on a laser printer, and then decide where they're going to go on your clay. It's best to try and leave some excess paper around your image. This will help us remove the paper later. With all techniques, it's best to try these out on a small sample first, just to make sure you're happy and you're comfortable with the technique. If you can, print your whole design out onto one piece of paper, or you can mix and match like I am here. Press the image down onto the clay and make sure all of the inked surface is nice and in contact with the surface of the clay. Take some water and lightly dampen your finger. Use this to lightly tap onto the paper. As you'd expect, the paper starts to moisten and you start to see some of that text coming through, and the paper goes a little see-through. Continue right across all of the image. I'm not rubbing the paper, I'm just tapping it so we don't let it shift or move at all. The paper just needs to be damp for about 1 minute and then you can take a quick peek to see if the image is transferring, and here, yes it is, so we're just removing all of that paper very gently and carefully. This technique is just a bit different from my air dry clay method in the other video, and as you can see most of the ink actually comes off the paper and remains onto the clay. Now I'm just repeating that process for the other part of the design. And I like to then cut the clay at this stage. And then neaten up any edges, although you can sand the polymer clay once it comes out of the oven. There is also some of the paper that's still remaining on this clay, so I'm very gently going to remove this at this stage. Then you can carry on and make a few more different designs for lots of different applications. That last one I made as a little coaster, or this one I shall make as a little tag or a keyring. Here I've made a key fob with some text, and instead of peeling the paper off while it was wet, I've left it to dry, and as you can see, not as much ink transfers, but the ink does still transfer and you get a slightly lighter effect. Bake the polymer clay in the oven according to the instructions on the packet. I put mine in on a relatively low temperature for just 30 minutes. Different thicknesses take different lengths of time. Here they are fresh out of the oven, and I wanted to show you if you didn't remove all of the paper before baking, then you can lightly dampen it and remove some of that paper. You just have to make sure that none of that ink shifts while you do so. Alternatively, don't add any water at this stage and just scrape off any excess paper. You can get some really lovely effects, and I really do hope you give this transfer technique a go. So as you see, it works well with the black ink, but I know lots of you will ask, can you do it with the coloured ink? And as you can see here on the red rocking bird one, it's worked with the red, and yes, it does work with lots of colours too. So I hope this inspires you to do some fun creative projects.